Hey guys, TGKS Productions. For this GT Line video, I have a buy customization review for the Dominator or Vapid Dominator ASP. This is one of the drip feed vehicles from the Los Santos Tuners DLC. First off, as we always do in this video, let's go ahead and buy or purchase this vehicle. Now, at first, I accidentally went to Legendary Motorsports. I don't know, or yeah, I did accidentally go to Legendary Motorsports at first. I don't know why I did that. Typically, I'd say the Dominator vehicles mostly are on the Southern San Andreas Super Auto's website. I don't have the trade price, unfortunately, so I did have to spend a little over another $400,000. The trade prices are randomly given out every 5 reputation levels in the car meet, so unfortunately that was one I have not received yet. Let's go ahead and read the caption here real quick. From the All-American line of Dominators comes the middle generation ASP, too contemporary to be classic, too old school to be cutting edge. This is the kind of car you forget all about until it punches you square in the junk. Now pony up. All right, there we go, guys. Let's purchase this vehicle. Check out the customization after that, and then get into a short review. So we just got the vehicle delivered, Dominator ASP, and it is primarily based off of the 2000 Ford Mustang SVT Cobra R. I plan to make a separate video showcasing this vehicle as well as going over some interesting facts, history about the real life version of this vehicle. Let's go ahead and pull it outside, look at the remote functions, get a close look at this vehicle. Let's also listen to the startup of this vehicle. Let's go ahead and take a look at this vehicle before we customize it. Now, as you can see the notification in the top left of the screen, you can apply low grip tires if you take this to the mod shop inside the LS car meet. Those can be applied under tire enhancements. So if you go to wheels, tire enhancements, that's where you'll be able to find low grip tires. And I believe I ended up pulling out a flashlight here because it's really hard to see everything on this vehicle. I would say there's nothing that like stands out specifically on the vehicle that I think is like super cool about it as far as like, looking at it here with all the, doors, the hood, the trunk opened up. I like that you have the Vapid symbol in the steering wheel. They've done that on a handful of vehicles. We have Vapid Dominator on the engine there, which is cool. Very nice look at the engine. Also had the Vapid symbol on the grill there, which is cool because I believe on the real life version of this vehicle, you have the slogan of Mustang or like the horse symbol on the real life version of this vehicle. So I thought that was really cool. They added that. It's very realistic. And as far as like I was messing with or you can look at the interior here as well. Pretty cool here. I'd say nothing that stands out super, nothing seems super unique here with the interior. The dash definitely looks very, similar to the real life version of this vehicle. Whether that dash where the dials are in other vehicles or not, I'm not sure. But that at least that part of it where the dials are or the speedometers, all that seems pretty realistic to the real life car. Also with the headlights, there's nothing really cool when you turn on the high beams. There's no like extra light that comes on like we see with some other vehicles. And then just getting a look at like the backup lights, the brake lights there. That's really about it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the customization of this vehicle, see what it all has to offer. Alright guys, so here is the customization for the Vapid Dominator ASP. This vehicle is in the muscle class, if I didn't state that earlier, as well as being able to race against other tuner vehicles in the Pursuit series and the Street Race series. I will say, all in all, it is nice to get another Mustang. I mean, we did just get the Vapid Dominator GTT, but Mustangs have definitely not been something that Rockstar's added a lot of love to over the years in GT Online. We don't get a lot of Dominators. In fact, the last Dominator we received was a few years ago. I can't even remember the name of it off the top of my head. I'll put the name up on the screen here, and I don't even remember if that was a full-on Mustang vehicle. I think it was like a mix between that and maybe a Charger. But nonetheless, handful, ton of customization options for this vehicle, like we've seen with a lot of the other tuner vehicles. Personally, I'm not really a huge fan of all of them. Not that they're bad. The real life version of this vehicle actually was made to be a bit of more of like a race type of car. But like a tuner car, but it didn't really necessarily have all these extra features on it. That'd be something you'd have to add on, like we are doing here. So I like to always make my vehicle a little bit more like the real life version. Wasn't really feeling a lot of these upgrades for the most part. I did add a couple on, but I think for the most part, I kept a good amount off. Didn't really go with all of them. You have a nice engine look here, which is awesome for like car shows if if you're into that sort of thing. One thing that kind of bugged me a little bit was the strut bar because I think the real life version of the vehicle, at least stock when you were to buy it, didn't have the strut bar. And personally, I would have liked to remove that, but it's not a huge deal. I just think that would be something that I wish Rockstar would have given us the option to be able to remove the strut bar. But yeah, ton of different customization options that you can add to the vehicle. It's all up to you, whatever you want to do to it. For pretty much here on out, I'll just interject here and there about, different customization options of the vehicle. I'm not necessarily going to talk for all the customizations. Obviously, if you guys want to check it out, if you're interested in this vehicle, feel free to do so. But I'll interject here and there pretty much from here on out. It's pretty cool here is coming up, we have these twin box exhausts. Pretty interesting. Now, I'm not really sure if those or any other vehicles GT Online. They definitely stayed out to me on this one, so I'd say those are fairly unique. Definitely don't recognize them on really any other vehicles of GT Online. Not to say that they're not there, because there's so many vehicles of GT Online, it's hard to remember every single vehicle that would possibly have something like that, but that was definitely something interesting that stood out to me. And something else also about the exhaust, at least with those last two, with the exhaust on the side of the vehicle, at least in my auto shop, it wouldn't let me turn to look at the exhaust, which kind of bugged me because I ended up having to buy both of them just to look at the exhaust on the side. So I don't know, Rockstar might need to change something there with that, but yeah. Now with these fender options here, we actually have two stock. We have stock front fenders and stock fenders. So I guess if you wanted to, you could just change the front fenders and then you would still have the stock back fenders or arches, whatever stock in the back there. So that was interesting. It's just something that stood out to me there as well. You also have to just appreciate sort of the boiling sound of the engine as it's just sitting here. I really like that. So that could be cool maybe for like a car meet or something like that. You could have that the engine just sound in the background. Obviously with like some sport vehicles, supercar vehicles, not necessarily going to get that. But maybe more of a muscle car vehicle like this you do. So I definitely enjoy that aspect of this vehicle. Oh, it's pretty crazy here with the strip dash. If you turn around, you can actually see like some of the wiring inside the vehicle there. So that's pretty cool. Really not my style, but that's definitely something interesting that I can see players missing if they don't turn around in the vehicle. Look at what's going on in the back when you strip the dash. So definitely a pretty interesting feature there. Now, this next livery coming up, Not Tonight Pizza Boy, I do believe that may be a reference to the first Fast and Furious movie. A character, Leon, was helping to block off a street race, or it was block off the road for a street race, the first street race of actually the movie, the one with Dom, Brian, and two other characters. And a pizza guy ends up pulling up, and basically, the pizza guy's like, what's going on here? And he goes, blocking off the road. You're gonna have to find another way home, Pizza Boy. It was some line like that. I do believe that's a reference to that movie. That's as soon as what I thought of as soon as I saw that livery. Now, when I thought of that, I thought about the car that Leon drove, and originally I was thinking maybe he did drive this car because it looks somewhat similar to it, but he actually drove a Nissan Skyline, so he didn't drive a Ford Mustang or what would be the Dominator ASP, what that's based off of. He didn't drive that. It was a Nissan Skyline. The livery he even had on that car didn't match the livery that was on this car, or the livery for the Not Tonight Pizza Boy. So not really sure what Rockstar was going in there, but it definitely seems like they're referencing that movie in that scene. Now for the color options or respray options here, primary color actually pretty much covers the entirety of the car. It even covers like the lining around the seats, which I missed first time I was looking at it, but it does cover the lining around the seats. Now the secondary color, to be honest, the stock vehicle didn't seem like it covered anything, but there are a lot of like secondary customization options, which I believe if you chose those, it would change the color. And you can even see in the interior here, there's nothing being changed with the secondary color. The brakes aren't being changed by the secondary colors we sometimes see. So I just believe it's those customization options that you buy. If they're titled secondary, then you'll have the secondary respray options show up. And then you'll notice when we go to the trim color, that pretty much covers the part of the seats, as you can see there, part of like the cushion of the seat, as well as around the door. Not definitely, I mean, we have trim colors that cover a lot more of the interior of the vehicle. This does not cover that much, as you can see here. I think the Comet S2 that we just saw, literally the trim color covered like the entire interior, and then there's the accent color. You just see that pretty much just covers like where the speedometer is, the odometer, all of that, and yeah, that's the respray options. Right here with the trunk option, we have a secondary trunk option. That's just what I was talking about earlier, where the secondary color is only going to show up if you add customization options that are titled secondary. Now with the tires here, the tires that came stock with this vehicle did not seem to be super unique. I went through some of the other classes of tires in the customization options, and there was a handful that seemed similar to the stock tires on this vehicle. They're all titled Enzo, and I'll put an example of one of them up on the screen here, but they look very similar to the stock tires. That is pretty much the full customization of the Vapid Dominator ASP. So So here's my final product of the Vapid Dominator ASP, and to be honest, it's not too different from the stock version. As far as my resprays, I have primary color metallic Torino red, pearlescent metallic Torino red, secondary color metallic Torino red, trim color black steel, accent color ice white, no livery, and the only other modification I added to this vehicle was the twin side exit exhaust. That was it. It's not really too much for the customization there. I'll put everything in the description, all my, customization options, even though it's all pretty much stock. Let's get to the final review of the Dominator ASP. And you'll see here, I'm driving down the car meet. I just want to take it on the test track real quick. And this vehicle seems to pick up really nicely. At least on a straightaway, seems to pick up a lot of speed, seemed to handle pretty well. Of course, this is my very first impression of it. I didn't really do a first pre-custom test drive. As I drove it a little more, I'd say my, I don't want to say expectations, that's more of a pre-look at the vehicle, but what I thought of this vehicle as far as performance-wise lowered a little bit. So I took another test track here. I did a number of times. I was just sort of messing with the time trial, get an idea of the handling. And I can tell you this, as far as like the top competitors right now in the tuners class, it's like the Comet S2, the Jester RR, those times, this time was considerably less than those times. But yeah, we're just talking seconds, but seconds is a big deal when it comes to racing, even if it's just like 3 or 4 seconds. And to be honest, like, the one thing that really I didn't like about this vehicle was the turning that much. I know I could be picky about the turning. I was with the Comet S2. I don't know. This turning with this vehicle, as far as this one, I mean, the Comet S2 wasn't horrible. I was just comparing it closely with maybe the Jester RR, since those like the two sort of top competitors of the tuners class right now. But the turning with this vehicle, it seems like you really have to adjust for the turn or prepare for the turn when you're at high speeds in a race. It doesn't seem to take turns extremely well. I even took this vehicle into some races, and I can tell you every single race I performed in the bottom half didn't perform very well. Also, like I said, with the turning, it seems like you really have to ease into the turns. You really have to hit the brakes, ease into it. It doesn't seem to take turns that well. I crashed quite a bit on turns. And overall, if you actually look at Bruffy 1322, his like top speed and lap time reviews for this vehicle, as far as like the muscle car class, lap time is like significant. I think he ranked at #1. Muscle car like top speed, it's above average, not necessarily top. But as far as in the tuners class, like top speed lap time is just average, if not even in the middle. So this is not really a car you're going to want to compete with. It's really just a car for maybe car shows, just to drive around, have fun with. I will also link Bruffy22's videos at the end of this one, so you can check his out, check his reviews of the top speed and lap time of Dominator ASP. But in any case, guys, that's pretty much everything I have to present to you in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it extremely beneficial. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share it, and have a great day.